What is going on, guys? KrysticMusic here. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. We are glad to have you. Today we're going to be going through a full breakdown of a festival trap type drop from a song that's already on the YouTube channel called Where Were You? I'll put it in the description if you want to check it out. Now looking back on it, there are several things I would have done, some things I wouldn't have added. Definitely the vocals being one of them. I should have spent more time on the vocals. You live and you learn. We're going to go ahead and go through the full breakdown of this and just the thought process behind it. We're just going to be focusing on the first and second drop in this video. Again, this is a full breakdown, so it's going to be a little longer than my normal videos, maybe 10 to 15 minutes long, just depending on how it goes. So I hope everybody's having a great day, and thank you for tuning in. So before we actually get into the breakdown, I'm going to show you what the song sounds like. In case you haven't heard it, we'll go ahead and do it without the vocals, just so you can hear the actual drop. If you want to hear the whole song, again, it's in the description if you want to hear it with the vocals and everything. Like, this wasn't the final master or anything, but this is like how I started it. Play a little bit from the build up, and then we'll just go from there. So we'll play it from right here. Okay, so that was the first drop. I'll go ahead and play the second drop for you, but this is the second drop, now that you got a gist of what the song is actually sounding like. Drop it. So you can tell I added a little, like, the stab effects that are kind of like bongo drums. I forget what, like, plucks, whatever you call them. Now I'm blanking out, but we'll go ahead and cover that in the video as well. So let's go ahead and just open all these up and let's see where I started, and we can go ahead and go from there. So I definitely can already tell where I started. Right here is where I started the chords, I'm guessing, because these, I usually just copy and paste these, and you can tell I kind of like went away with it towards the end. But anyway, so let's go ahead and just see what I started with and how my thought process was. So went ahead and made these chords in Serum. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, this is, yep. So yes, I do remember this now. Okay, we'll start from the build up here. You do have these, we'll solo this, the chords. We'll start at the end of the build up. So at the build up, I do want to build tension. So I do have that soft and gets louder kind of feeling on this one. These are the chords that I used. Let's see if we can get more. Okay, it's not too fancy, nothing too fancy. And this, I'm guessing, is some kind of bass. Yeah. So it's just the root note of the bass. Get that atmosphere, airy vibe going. And yes, I do need to name my instruments. I'm sorry. Okay, this right here is, I think I introduced this later. Yeah, so this is when I introduced it right after the intro. And what I did, I'm pretty sure I used the auto filter as a frequency thing. Yeah, I did. So I automated the auto filter part on it. Yeah, here we go. So it's going up, and then once it gets to this part, it's already fully there. Okay, got it. So these are like the build-up instruments, if that makes sense. Okay, so by themselves, they sound like this. It's kind of like a horn, like a trumpet sounding stab. So you can kind of tell I literally use the chords for these three things. So easy, simple. This little noise riser that I added. And all my risers, whatever riser, I tend to, on the drop, I tend to, well, I kind of always do some form of like down sweep. I don't know why, it just adds so much to me. So this is what it sounds like with the down sweep. Without it, it sounds like this. There's just something about the atmosphere of it leading it, like, actually in the drop. So I do put down sweeps into my drops. Let's just see what this is at. Okay, so this is really subtle, and I do love the subtle things in a drop. So this, you can kind of hear it maybe like in this second measure, you kind of start to hear the pattern of it. So all together, let's just go ahead and just, and this is like really subtle. So in it sounds like this. It's kind of like you kind of picture like it going up, like the drop like goes like this. If you know what I'm saying, that's kind of how I imagine it. Without it, it sounds like this. It's still a groove, but there's no wave. There's no like anticipation. So that's kind of the anticipation of it. And now I know I have the webcam. I look like a complete fool. And then what is this right here? Okay, that's for the second drop that I added that. So we'll go ahead and skip that for now. Let's see what this sound is. And let's see what this sound is. Okay, so very important. I do tend to layer my, I wouldn't call, maybe a lead, not necessarily a bass. It could be a bass, it could be a lead, whatever you want to call it. And this one, I'm not sure if I even used like a sub. Oh, I did. It looks like maybe just a sub, some kind of sub bass and maybe another bass. To me, there's like several types of drops. One where it's like a call and then a response. And those are mainly like in dubstep or like hardstyle, you know, where you have a bass and then you have, when you have a bass and then you have a lead. So, you know, in dubstep where it's like, bah, 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 you can kind of separate the two, like bass, lead, if that makes sense. So I kind of use those as a drop. And this is also a drop that I use as mainly just a melody that's kind of stabby and short and loud and screechy. To be a sort of bass lead, if that makes sense. For example, the loud screechy one, the one that you're mainly hearing, is definitely this one. But this one is the party lead, which is kind of the festival aspect of it, and this is the trap aspect of it, if that makes sense to anyone. So together they do sound like this. So in my mind, together they sound like trap, right? This, let's just take this out, see what's going on here. So this was in F sharp minor, and basically it's just going up, mid, down, mid, up. If you can kind of see that, you can kind of see that here as well. So this is kind of like a stop and go. And as you can tell, I kind of use the same over and over. It's just layering different instruments, right? Going on to this. This is honestly one of my favorite sounds. I probably will release this to you guys, because you can do so much with this sound. You know what I mean? And it could just cut off at any point. You know what I mean? Oh, I love that so much. Anyways, I'm going to use the sound more. I did mess with to see if it goes higher or lower. Actually, not like that. So you can put it higher or lower. That actually sounds good. It took me a while to just put it right here in like middle C kind of ish. So basically, I'm pretty sure those are all the instruments for that drop. And then the build-up, of course, I kind of lead into an idea of what the drop is going to be. I never want to put exactly what the drop is going to be. If I do, it's going to be something like this, where the auto filter, you can barely hear it, right? This, I think, is just the... so this is just the strings. And it's magical, right? So this is like the lower strings, kind of violin type, cello type, and then this is obviously the higher one. To just build the atmosphere even more for the build up, right? And then this is just a little vocal I had. We can talk about vocals in another video, but I'm pretty sure I messed with one. So I did go ahead and just put literally his vocal and just put it right after each other. Just lowered the volume, I believe. Yeah, just lowered the volume on some. Drop it. And then on this one, I think I just lowered his voice. Drop it. So basically together, it sounds like this. Drop it. So that's basically it. You can just get a little, you could just have a little fun before the drop. And I think I cut everything out right before the drop. So you can definitely hear it. Drop it. Which just makes the drop that much harder. I did go ahead and do this old-fashioned bass clap combo and snare. Yeah. We'll go ahead and do this sound. What is this? Okay. So this is just, I'm pretty sure I put this with the sub bass. Yeah. So with the subs, I did put it up an octave higher than I usually do, just so I can get it to come out better. And then I, of course, side chained it to the bass and everything like that. But it's very simple, very straightforward sub bass pattern. With the kicks and with the snare. I could have done more work with the snare, and on this snare, I'm pretty sure I messed with it here. Just transposing it, lowering the volumes and everything like that, and triplet. I don't know how I like triplets, but I like triplets. Same thing over here. We'll get to that in a minute. So basically the drums, standard build up. So the drums, there's not really anything fancy going on with the drums, crashes here and there. The vocal I did spread out throughout the drop. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just put a couple vocals there. So this is basically the drop, guys. The first drop. I'm pretty sure I explained it fairly accurately as to what the instruments are. But just going into the second half of the drop. So I did want to make a longer drop. And if you want to make a long drop, odds are you're going to have to make it noticeably different to where you can't really tell it's the same drop. So I did go ahead and just change the whole beat, kind of did a little beat change into like, I don't know, like moombathon, reggaeton kind of deal here, right? You know, some like twerking dance music, you know what I mean? So going into this is how it sounds. And before we do that, with the hi-hats on the second, I went ahead and just did this. I was being lazy. I just did this from one of the loops I had. And I put that on this last half of the drop to give it some variety. Now this second half is totally different, but it fits the vibe. So this is what that sounds like. I know, a lot going on here. So basically everything is the same except it's longer. So just going over here, we can see, let's see. So as you can tell, on this one, there's like quarter notes, eighth notes, some triplets in there. Like everything is everywhere on this one, right? It's still melodic, and in the BPM, it's just everywhere kind of. Rather, this one is more static and just a quarter note, I believe. So you can even count with this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. And the melody I was going for is like bum 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 stop bum stop. Stop, stop. You know, to get that head bob effect. And on this one, I think I just did the same. Yeah, I just put it the same. So it sounds like this. And then the main difference that you're hearing is probably the drums. So obviously the drums are totally different. I went ahead and messed with the snare. Let's just go ahead and put these on. And I added this bass right here. We'll just solo that. So it's kind of that bouncy EDM reggaeton, and the thing that makes it like kind of like reggaeton-ish or drum and bass-ish, whatever you want to call it, is the snare. And this hit really makes it stand out. This I think it's transposed. Yeah, here we go. +6 on the pitch. This is +5, and then this is 0. So that's where you can tell it's kind of pitched up. So this is what makes it get that different feel. That's what I was saying, when you have long drops, you kind of want to make it totally different, but a little bit the same, regarding the same instruments and a little bit of the same melody, just different. So altogether, Oh, and I added back these things over here, so it gets a more full vibe. So during the drop, it's still, instead of the drop being here, it goes here, and then it goes up a little in energy, and then it goes down. And on that, and then you have the breakdown, where everything comes back from it being drop, second part of the drop, breakdowns coming back down a little bit, you know what I mean? And then this second drop here basically is just the same as the first drop, same exact thing, except I added this sound right here. And to be honest, I should have just left it on this one, and I made it a little bit trappy, more trappy I mean. And so this is kind of sounding more like, I don't know, Carnage, Spaceman type vibes. I should have just put this, I don't know, there's a lot of should haves in this song, but we'll go ahead and do it like it is. So it sounds like this. I decided to leave these two in. I should have went a different route. I don't know if I just got lazy or something. But without the leads that's in the first drop, it kind of sounds like this. Drop it. So it kind of sounds more hip-hoppy or trappy than festival trap. I guess that's why I left it in there. So, I mean, to each his own. I could hear it going either way. That's the great part of music production. You can just choose which way you want to do it. But anyways, that is basically the breakdown, guys. If you want me to go more into depth or kind of like maybe even redo it or something, or if you had any questions on something like, hey, on the first drop, why did you do this? Or on the second drop, can you explain this more? Or, hey, that thing in yellow, what was that? You know, what is this? You know, what is the pink again? You know, something like that. I don't know. Obviously, there's more stuff regarding like effects and everything. I just did a simple breakdown that hopefully doesn't last too long, that hopefully you can kind of get inspiration from on basically like song layouts and how this drop looked if you heard the song. Just to maybe get some ideas and a new perspective on a drop and how it kind of works. Leave a comment if you stayed till the end, by the way. I want to know who's faithful, who's loyal out here. But anyways, my name is KrysticMusic. Like if you like the video, subscribe for more, and keep making music. I'm out. Peace.